You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a trunk, just like Jim. It's more to life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more to life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club, like some bottles, impress them girls. It's more to life.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And who dat? And I'm Ethan. And as you can see, I got a fresh cut for the start of the new season. And hopefully, go Bills! And hopefully they can knock off the Rams to start the new season. That'd be great for the NFC and the Saints if they could get a win and make them start 0-1. But the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to some of the new subscribers that subscribe to my channel, because most of the time I can't identify people that do that, and it's not really my thing to ask people to subscribe and like to my channel, but I really do appreciate it when people do, and yeah, it really does help my channel. But usually I just like getting into the topics and stuff, but I really do appreciate it. And when people throw down likes and throw down subscribes, if I can identify who you are, I'll give you a shout out. But let me just shout out to these people that subscribed to the last video and threw down some likes. So let me shout out these people real quick, and then we'll get right into some of these topics that I got for you guys this evening. So let me shout out Randy Major, Saints Pelicans Nation, and 504 Hot Boy. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel and really helping me grow here. I really appreciate it when people subscribe and throw down likes. I'm just doing what I do. I'm trying to grind and trying to grow, and people that are here helping me grow and all that, I really do appreciate it. And I'm glad that there's people out there that like what I'm doing, and let's get it. And we got a lot of topics here. It's Falcons hate week, and there's some stuff to get here. I got some funny stuff here too, because it seems like there's some people jumping on the Saints bandwagon here. It's kind of funny. So let's get it. You know what we do. So can I get a menu? So the first thing I got here is I'm gonna take credit for this, because I mentioned this. I guess this was almost 2 weeks ago when this happened, and a lot of people that they don't like to put predictions on injuries and when guys will be back. But I've been watching football for I don't know 20 years or so now, and I am just that's probably the thing that bothers me the most about football, and that stresses me out the most about the NFL, and the thing that probably derails good teams' seasons the most, and definitely Saints seasons the most, is injuries. And I just can't stand it. Anytime an injury or a season-ending injury pops up, it just makes me so sick. And all the injuries and things that I've followed over the years, hell, I feel like I could be a sports injury doctor by now, because I just feel like I could diagnose injuries or put a time frame injury on any type of injury that pops up: a shoulder injury, a hernia injury, knee injury, foot injury. And that's kind of what I did when Trevor Penning's turf toe injury popped up. I put 6 weeks on it, and I actually calculated in the 2 weeks before 2 weeks leading up to the game. So that would have been more like 8 weeks. So it came out news that he actually may be back because they originally said indefinitely, which when people heard that originally, a lot of people were scared that was maybe, that was doomsday, that he was going to be done for the season. But now, it's looking more like it's going to be maybe more like early November, which that could maybe be just like 8 games. So I said 6 weeks, so now it's looking more like 8 weeks. But hey, I didn't say it out for a season. I said about 6 games. So hey, I'm taking credit for that. I'm taking credit for that. So if that's true, early November, that would put him out to like the earliest November 7th. Yeah, November 7th, which would be a home game against the Ravens. And that would be big time if he comes back. And that's not necessarily meaning that he would start, but that just means he would be available. If James Hurst is still healthy, then I would imagine James Hurst is still healthy and still playing good. I imagine that he would still be playing, but still, it would help with like jumbo packages and 6 offensive linemen. And if he comes in on goal line playing like maybe in the fullback in the backfield, then that would be great. And just for development as a rookie, it'd be horrible. That was like I was saying, I hate that when people say, "Oh, well, that's okay if he's going to be hurt. It's kind of good, that's a development year." Like, no, you never want people hurt. And injuries are terrible. Like him having a horrible injury that's so bad he's out for the season, that could linger the rest of his career. So that the injury went well and that he's healthy enough to come back. That's what you want to hear. And if he's not ready to come back then, and it's a little later in November, then the November 13 would be the Steelers, and that would be an away game. And that would probably even be better because those road games, those are a little tougher, even though the Saints have actually been better on the road than they have at home lately, oddly enough. Like, I don't know, there's something weird about that dome field advantage. It hasn't been as good as it has been lately. I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully that improves this season. But hey, look, that's comforting. That makes, I hope everyone in the Saints, the Houdat Nation, Saints Nation, I hope that's comforting, and I hope that's true. I hope he doesn't have any setbacks, or I hope when he comes back to practice or comes off of IR, or they don't end up needing another roster spot because they're ravaged with injuries. So I hope that reigns true. But even with that news, I find it hard to believe with 8 games. I find it hard to believe that someone else at the left tackle position won't end up playing there. I would be willing to bet at some point that James Hurst will probably miss a game. I just have that feeling. I bet we'll see Landon Young at some point, maybe 1 or 2 games. So just brace yourself for that. But anyways, that's enough on that. Moving on to the next thing is Mark Ingram. So, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's gone. Let's just move on to that. That's done and over with. No change in that. But hey, thing that's exciting about that, we got to see Mark Ingram in the number 5 for 1 game. He looked slimmed down in that. He looked fast. That's kind of a cool number. That's kind of cool getting to see running backs and defensive players and defensive backs and stuff in single numbers, I guess, linebackers and stuff in single digit numbers. And I think even when Mark Ingram was with the Texans, he was in the number 2, but that didn't last long. It looks like he's going back to the number 2, deuce, big trust. So some people don't seem to care. They're like, who cares? But I like it. I think that brings good mojo. That really brings the the memories of boom and zoom, and I think that's I think that is a good like a good sign, a good energy. I think that's going to be like good luck, you know. I think that's a good aura to the team. And like I said, Mark Ingram's a great player. You know, a lot of people talk about how you lose a juice guy, an energy guy, a locker room guy, and C.J. Gardner Johnson. But hey, you get one back in Mark Ingram, and so I think it's a big respect thing, and Mark Ingram being able to get his number 22 back, like the right guy got his number back in 22. So it's just kind of a smooth transition with him getting his number back. And so when I heard that he was getting it back, I was happy about that. And so the people that already have his number 22, I'm sure they're happy about it. So hopefully nobody already bought the 14 or nobody bought the 5. Hopefully nobody bought the 5. That would have been a rush decision, only seeing him having it for a short period of time. So, well, like I said, I'm really happy about that. It definitely brings back a lot of nostalgia, especially from the 2017 season when they were just amazing. And hopefully he stays healthy all year. He looked really good in the Chargers game, getting those 2 touchdowns, and Alvin Kamara, he looked awesome in that game as well. And I just hope for a throwback season like that. That would be amazing if Alvin Kamara had like 1,000 yards and Mark Ingram had just even like 600 and maybe like 8 touchdowns. I would love that. Just something just in that ballpark would be amazing in the 22. But next thing, and this is probably one that this is the one that cracks me up. Like, this is just so odd to me that people are jumping on the Saints bandwagon. I don't know if I don't even really care too much. I just like reading the comments after these kind of things come out. And this is the power rankings that have been coming out lately, and I just love reading Twitter comments after they come out, because some other fans of other team fan bases, they get so heated over these kinds of things, and there's usually hate and stuff when it comes to Saints podcaster or Saints media people and Saints broadcasters and things like that. But the two Peters, the two Peters is what I'm calling them. But Peter King and Pete Presco had some very high ratings for the Saints in their last 2 ranking systems, I guess. But Peter King, he had the Saints actually as the number 1 seed in the NFC, and Pete Presco had the Saints as number 6 on his power rankings. And man, there was just a lot of hate and vitriol in those comment sections of mostly fans just saying they don't think the Saints are even going to make the playoffs, or the Saints don't even have a quarterback, and Sean Payton's gone. Well, obviously a lot of those fans aren't paying attention to the Saints rosters, and obviously didn't pay attention to the Saints last year, and knowing that the Saints were just decimated with injuries, and knowing that the Saints are probably one of the deepest teams in depth this year. And just like any team, if a team is just decimated in injuries, you can't expect much out of them. And even some Saints fans were chimed in on them saying, well, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. Well, you must have not have been a very good Saints fan if you're actually agreeing with some of those fans, because if you were, then you should understand their team was decimated with injuries. So your opinion doesn't matter anyway. So you're not a very good Saints fan if you're agreeing with those people either. So, and some of those fans as well even mentioned talking about the Eagles instead, saying the Eagles made a lot of off-season moves, and the Saints didn't make any off-season moves. So I understand that the Eagles added Sauce Gardner and some other good bunch of picks and added some what I think another receiver or something in the first round. They had a good draft, I guess, uh, and then said the Saints didn't do anything in the offseason. Well, I guess they didn't see that the Saints had two first-round rookies and Chris Olave and Trevor Penning, even though he's hurt at the moment, and then added Tyrann Matthews and Jarvis Landry. So just those other fan bases, they're just not paying attention. But I'm paying attention. I saw that the Eagles they added a lot of players and Jalen Hurts is going into his third year, and they made the playoffs last year, and the Saints didn't. So I'm not ignorant to the fact that the Eagles could possibly be good, but they're blind. They're blind. So it's just funny that some media peoples and broadcast and color commentators from ESPN are on the bandwagon. Some people are jumping on the bandwagon. I don't know if that's good for the Saints or not. Some people like to be underdogs, but I just think it's funny. I just like the hate and the vitriol that comes with it from other fan bases. I love to see them cry, basically. I love to see them moan over it. But anyways, that's enough for all those little news clippings and snippets that came before this. And the main thing we're here for is the Falcons hate week and a little bit of the breakdown that I have for you. And so what I have for this is, I guess maybe this is a little more of my concern for this game. For some reason, I have this weird feeling about this game. I think I really have this before every game, even though I feel that the Saints are the better team, really almost at every position, besides maybe tight end, because Kyle Pitts is amazing. He's just head and shoulders better than any tight end that the Saints have. It's pretty much clear. But my thing is, Kyle Pitts, he's a mobile quarterback. The RPO has really given the Saints a lot of trouble lately. Just like I was mentioned, Jalen Hurts earlier, he's killed the Saints the last two seasons. And Marcus Mariota is very similar to him. That's just his problem last few years is he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, but he can do pretty much everything that he can do. And he came from the same draft class that Jameis Winston came from. So is he up for a redemption year? Possibly, but let's hope he doesn't do it against the Saints. But that scares me a little bit. That's why this game scares me a little bit. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And then I just mentioned Kyle Pitts, and the thing that worries me about him is we don't have Malcolm Jenkins anymore, and that's what Malcolm Jenkins was so great at, was covering the tight ends. Like in his last two seasons with the Saints, he was just so great at covering the tight ends. The only tight end that got him the whole time that we had him was Darren Waller again in the Raiders game. Other than that, he locked tight ends down. But he's gone now. I don't really know how Tyrann Matthews and Marcus May are going to be covering someone like Kyle Pitts. So that concerns me a little bit. And then the guy that got us in the first Falcons game is Cordell Patterson. So how is Adebo gonna handle that? Is he gonna get God on another will route? He did fine against him last in the finale game, and then you also got to take into account: is there going to be a decline? Is he going to hit a wall? Because I'm pretty sure Cordell Patterson, he's like 34, 35 years old. So is he still going to be able to do that all around back? Because he's like their running back, he's their receiver, he's their returner. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, to be the all-purpose player. He's not just like a scat back. He's just literally, last year, other than Kyle Pitts, he was like their only weapon. So Cordell Patterson, those are the three players I'm really gonna watch. And then there's also another interesting one. I didn't even have this down really, is Drake London, which he, like, on his first play in preseason, he hurt his knee. So it'll be interesting. He's the wide receiver. He was the first wide receiver taken in the draft. I think he was out of USC, and like on the first play, first catch in preseason, he hurt his knee, which that's not good. It'd be interesting to see if he plays and see what he does. Hopefully, a rookie wide receiver doesn't tear us up. We've that's historically the Saints end up, if a rookie's going to have a big game, it'll definitely come against the Saints. And then just a hot take. This is probably not a tasteful, funny hot take, but I think it would be a funny hot take if Marcus May got an interception or made a big play, fumble recovery or forced fumble, and then just started doing a road rage impersonation or something. That would probably not be tasteful, or probably wouldn't help his case, and possibly a suspension being levied against him. And then for my prediction for the score, I think most Saints games, for the most part, are usually pretty close in scores. But the Saints defense is good, so I don't imagine them giving up a lot of points. And the Saints offense is just now getting back together. This will be Jameis's first game back. So I don't think the Saints will be scoring a lot of points, but I don't think they're going to be. I don't think the defense is going to allow a lot of points either. I think the final score will be Saints 24-17. So with that, I think that's all I have for you this evening. And with that, can I get a check, please?